Hey, fellow van campers, van lifers, and people that just like to get out and have some good adventures. I'm also going to show you another little tip today. It's going to be a pretty quick, simple tip. My name's Casey, and this is Mountain Bluebird, my camper van. I basically built it with almost no wood. All of the cabinetry and everything in here is framed in 80/20 1-inch aluminum profile. You can see that here. And I use this 1/4-inch blue HDPE blue because it was the coolest color available at the time. White and black were the pretty much only most available common colors. And it's worked out great. It's incredibly durable. It's tough as heck. Even my drawers in almost all cases are made with this. But I did put really the benefit of that is I don't have any moisture absorption that builds up in the van from any kind of just living in it, use in it, any water spills or things like that that would absorb, and of course would eventually deteriorate. And that, of course, is a structural component. If it's your cabinets, you need that to be structural and strong. You don't want that deteriorating, getting weak, and so forth. This cabinet, if I moved like this, I'm literally rocking the whole van. I can see the whole van moving. This cabinet doesn't move one bit. It is only bolted down the floor, solid as can be with this kind of cabinetry. I don't have to worry about damaging it all. I've got a handle right on the outside here used on the side of this cabinet to help pull up when entering the van from the slider door here. And it's incredibly strong. But nonetheless, I do have this wood countertop. I wanted some warmth. I wanted some wood. I had this built to the wood and rough dimensions that I needed, but I had to do a lot of trimming around the slider, back of the slider door here where it does curve in quite a bit, and of course cutting it to length. And then I rounded out the edges on all sides, top and bottom, so they're nice and smooth and you don't catch any kind of edges or anything on this when rubbing on it. But it does need some maintenance, so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about wood block countertop maintenance. It's very basic and simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is it's just got a little bit of some food spills on here. It's really easy to clean up. I'm simply going to take a wet towel, what I've got right here, and I'm going to just simply wet it. I'm going to give this a wipe down, and I'm going to give it a good thorough wipe down. Make sure you're using a little bit of elbow grease on it too. And then we're going to go on to the next step. This is really only about a 2 or 3 step process. It's pretty simple, and that's how you keep your kitchen wood block countertop or any other similar things. Couldn't even just be a cutting board, not even a countertop that's made of wood. This is how you keep it nice and pure and good and hydrated and protected from things like wine stains and other food stains, but also from the sunshine. Right here at the slider door, when that slider door is open, it's sunny out. This is getting baked by the sun. That's going to dry out the wood, which of course is already pretty much dry, but as it dries out, it can crack. Those big changes in humidity or temperature changes can create a crack. And also we want to preserve it. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. I'm going to go through the few steps on how to do that. Okay, now on to our next step. There's a couple different options here. So one is you can simply just buy some food grade mineral oil, and that's it. And you can just simply put this down. It'll keep it nice and sheen. It creates some sheen. It'll help protect it. It is, even though it's a byproduct from mineral oil is a byproduct from production of oil for gasoline and diesel fuel. It's actually a completely clean and biodegradable product. And so you can just put that down with a paper towel and just simply soak it in. And that's what I'm going to do here. All right, so while this countertop is still damp, just slightly damp, we don't want any real wet spots or anything where it's going to prevent the mineral oil from getting absorbed in. But while it's still just slightly damp, you just simply take a paper towel and just rub it in and really get it worked in here on the top. Make sure you cover every part. Really key spots to protect are around the sink, because you get a lot of water spray around the sink, and that water spray will eventually cause the countertop to discolor and also lose some of its ability to absorb moisture. or lose some ability to not absorb moisture, and it will start absorbing moisture. So we want to make sure that's prevented. And by putting this mineral oil on, we're actually helping to preserve the countertop, keep it from drying out and thus cracking, and or, like I said, absorbing any food or others. You notice I'm going around the edges here too, to make sure I get the edges, the top, the bottom. Really want to cover the whole thing. I'm going to slide even my wine bottle / cup holder off here to get this little wood trim I have here. This is purely just to keep things from sliding out, off, and underneath right there. And so now that I have a really good, more or less everything pretty well completely covered, as far as I can tell, I'm going to let that dry, and but I'm going to wipe up any excess moisture right now, and I'm just going to come back with another paper towel in a few minutes, and we're going to wipe this any residuals off here. And meanwhile, I'm going to go wipe my hands off. Normally I'd wear a latex glove while doing this, but you know, this does wipe off pretty well in the hands, and like I said, it isn't harmful at all to your hands. It is biodegradable and natural, at least in this form, natural food grade mineral oil. So there we go. Go on to the next step now. All right, now that the mineral oil has had a few minutes to soak in, I've washed my hand with some soap and water to get that mineral oil off. I've also disposed of that paper towel that was loaded up with that mineral oil in an outside trash can, in some place where it's not likely to combust. There's no real heat source or anything there for it, since it is a paper towel soaked with oil. It can. And you can probably tell now there's a really kind of pretty thin sheen of this mineral on top here. I'm just going to use a paper towel. It's not necessarily the best thing because it will leave a little bit of lint sometimes, but that lint will come off. The mineral oil will get soaked in. The lint will generally just, you know, any little fuzz will eventually just wear off. So I'm just simply going to use this just to make sure that that mineral is all spread around. There's no real clumping of it, so we don't get any little kind of blocks of that oil building up. Make sure I go around the edges as well. And what I'm going to do after I go around the edges is on all the corners and stuff here around my plumbing fixtures is I'm just going to go back over against the grain once more, so that way any little streak marks that may be in there from this application of it just get really disappear with the grains of the wood here. And now that I've done that, you can see only a little bit extra came off. I'm going to go and just let that soak. I could do another coating if I felt like it needed to. What I also can do, and I may do it this time too, is just use a butcher block conditioner. Now this is a combination of mineral oil, but also has like some citrus, like orange or something in there, that gives a little bit of a, let's see, vitamin E, beeswax, Cananuba wax, and it gives it a nice kind of scent, almost like an orangey scent, but also gives that little waxy coating. So after this dries a little bit, I'm going to come back in, I'm going to apply that conditioner to the top, really the same way, although I do tend to keep some old rags here in a bag that I use specifically for this, so that way it goes on nice and clean. The paper towel will leave a little bit of lint, and so when I apply that wax, I'll use that. And then after all that's dry, I'll just kind of go and wipe up the counter edges here, cabinet edges, just to get any of that kind of oil residue off. It's not a big deal if it's on there, but just more to keep it clean. And that's it. And that's how you keep your butcher block clean and protected from the sunshine. That's what the vitamin E and that kind of butcher block conditioner will do, and also just keep it from drying out. And I suggest doing this, probably depends how much you use your van and how dry of an environment you live in and so forth, but it's probably good to do this about every 3 months or so, just a reapplication of this. And that's simple to do, takes 15 minutes, and you keep your butcher block looking good and keep it from cracking, which would be a real bummer to have happen. So there you go. I hope this was helpful. Certainly subscribe, leave any comments or suggestions, questions you have in the comments, and by all means, let me know if there's any of your videos you'd like to for me to do for you that may be helpful to you. All right, good luck with your camper build out and getting out there and using it.